What is happening, everyone? Rachy, what's going on? Welcome. Just setting some things up here. Oh. Oh, that works now. Nice. All right, that's cool. What is the blue, white, red Xbox controller that I have behind me? Which one are you talking about? Oh, the one up there? Here, I'll show you 1 second. Is this one? We talking about this one? The Sonic the Hedgehog Special Edition. I think this is a pretty rare controller. I don't know what it's worth right now or anything. I don't think you can get this anymore. But I've literally never opened it. I don't think I will, to be honest. This is like a collector's thing for me. It's a Razer controller, but obviously in collaboration with Xbox. Beautiful controller, I think. Oh no. Shit's falling. I have this one too, which is another one of those Razer ones. Mandalorian. I don't know if this one you can still get or not either, but they released a couple of special edition ones at the beginning of this generation via Razer, but these are Xbox, like they're designed for Xbox. So their official Xbox controllers are just Razer. Way better than the furry Sonic and Knuckles controller. Yeah, it's super nice. What's up, Ed Ray? What's up, Romanov? How's everyone doing tonight? I decided to just have a jump on here, do a stream. Don't really know what I'm going to do. Is just going to talk gaming, maybe play some Hollow Knight or something. Just for a little bit here. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting weekend actually, with the whole Game Pass stuff back in the news, of course. The former executives coming out and talking about Game Pass. It seems like anytime former executives come out, Game Pass seems to be making the headlines. It's a very, very odd thing to me. as a consumer, which how good Game Pass is for us. When will Microsoft announce the price for the? That's the question I have too. I have no idea. It's got to be soon. I would not be shocked honestly if it's in the next week or so. It's got to be soon. October 16th. What is that? Like just over a month away. They have to be announcing the price of that soon. I think with the Lenovo Legion Go 2 announcement with the pricing for them, they're looking at that and seeing people's reactions to that. And they're like, yeah, we can't price the LAX anywhere near that, which is like $1,100 for the base model. So I don't know. I hope the rumors are true that they're thinking about eating more of the cost and then giving the consumer a cheaper price. One thing the more I think about the ROG Xbox Ally, although I'm excited for like having the Xbox experience, the thing I'm excited about the most is that full screen experience that you're going to get on anything. The 7-inch display for me is, I wish it was a bigger screen. I really wish it was a bigger screen. I see that Lenovo Legion Go 8.8-inch screen and I'm just like, man, I wish that was on there. OLED as well would be nice, but OLED's not that huge of a deal if you like you're still the IPS screens are okay. They look good and everything. My Nintendo Switch 2 screen looks fine. But the 7-inch, because the Switch 2 is 7.9 inches, and that's a good size. I wouldn't really want anything less than that. Either way, the Ally X is going to be the way to go, I think. 40% lighter. Yeah, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care about portability. I know that sounds weird for a portable PC handle, but I'm playing these things laying in my bed most of the time. That's the like 95% of the time I'm using these PC handhelds or any of these handhelds at all. It's laying in bed at night for like an hour or two before I fall asleep when I actually can get some gaming time in. So with those, I'll be able to play on my Xbox off, which is great. But that's where my Switch 2 comes in really handy right now. Or even my cloud gaming stuff for Xbox Cloud Gaming, laying in bed at night. Or sometimes like taking it with me on the go at lunch or something, at work or something. I play there for like an hour. Not even an hour, but like whenever if I could jump into a quick game or whatever. But that is probably really the only place I take it. And I guess and traveling, it's like if you're on any sort of train or if you're traveling long distance, there's an outlet. I mean, battery life though is important. I just don't. I think we'll get a slightly better battery life, but that's another reason why the whole portability thing isn't a huge deal because I just feel like 2 hours, things dead. You have to have it plugged in anyways if you want to play anything significant. Ben Yang with the $5 super chat. I appreciate that, Ben Yang. Can shift right thumb leftwards to change weapons via D-pad on an Xbox style controller while moving character. Can't do this on a PlayStation pad. That's fair. I just don't like the layout of the PlayStation controllers at all. I've never liked the thumbsticks beside each other. And even like the DualSense, like I don't like the triggers on it at all. I don't like triggers on it at all. Which is like even with these third-party controllers, I've been using the 8-bit dough and I've been using this guy here recently. I like this one so much better now, just simply because it has the Xbox style of layout, like the feel, and it has these types of triggers. Where this one has the PlayStation. I think this is kind of like the PS4 style trigger, which I never really loved. It's not bad, like it's still a very good controller, this 8-bit dough one, but these triggers on this one are much, much better. Yeah, I'm going to do something real quick here. Thank you, Ben Yang, for the first to contribute to my goal. There's goals now here on streaming, which is like pretty cool. Didn't know that. as someone who hasn't streamed in a while. I can also do this, which I will because, yeah, it's still working. Let's go. Tried Helldivers 2 on DualSense. The D-pad is just badly positioned for strategy games. GameShare makes the next Xbox controllers for third party. I mean, the best. The third, if you guys remember third party controllers back in the day where it was like Mad Cats and how garbage all of those third party controllers were, they would break so easily. We are in an era now where we have Game Pass and we have third party manufacturers that actually make great third party controllers. Like, I have no problem recommending these third party controllers. They're phenomenal for the price and everything. Like, this one feels, it has like pro controller feel to it with the grips and everything. It does, obviously it's not as good as like it's not as premium as the pro controller from Xbox, but has the feel to it, has great features, has more features than the pro controller or the elite controller, whatever it's called. And it's only like $100 or $80. So, I mean, and it comes with a dock. You really can't beat these third party controllers. Like, if you're choosing, I would highly recommend just looking at third party. I don't know the longevity of them, but I have never heard any. I haven't really heard like massive issues about them breaking down. Like that 8-bit dough one, I hear everyone who has that one is really likes it. Everything I've seen on my video boxing this guy and talking about it, all the comments that there's a lot of people who actually have this one. They say they love it, and I've been using it. And yeah, this is like my now main right now. On my PC, I have it connected to my PC, and then if I use it on my Xbox, it's wired, which, to me, not a huge deal. Some people may be a bigger deal when my Xbox is like right beside me. I just plug it in, so I don't really care. But other than that, this is now basically my main PC controller. Until maybe I get another one and then it replaces it. Because I've gone through, just because I've been trying different ones out, these companies have been sending them to me to take a look at, and I've gone from the 8-bit dough one to this one, and yeah, they're great. They're all great. Hey, Brandon, I'm doing good, man. I just decided to jump on here and chat a bit. PS2 Macax controller, and it's very good. Is it? I just remember them breaking all the time, all of the older ones. And whenever you would like be at a friend's house, you'd always never want that third-party controller. The wireless tech is annoying. That is true because of the dongle stuff you have to plug in. Even for what was the other one that I tried out where I could plug in the dongle? Oh, the rare 40th anniversary one behind me, which is a beautiful one. This guy. This one here is another 8-bit dough one, but to play wirelessly on your Xbox, you have to plug in a dongle into your Xbox. So yeah, so that's kind of annoying. Doing the Dark Ages controller, it's good. Yeah, I mean, it's an official Xbox one, so it'll be good. Brandon Martin, member for 5 months. I appreciate that, man. Always jumping into the streams and every time I come on, so I appreciate it. You can join Blue Pass for $1. Anyone out there interested? All right. So, Game Pass. Former Bethesda executive believes subscription services like Game Pass don't reward content makers. It's always an interesting story with Game Pass. Always an interesting story. From the consumer perspective, it's just obvious. It almost seems like a lot of these executives don't like Game Pass simply because of how good it is for the consumer. With the amount of bangers that drop onto it, we've already seen like the sales of games that drop day one into Game Pass still do completely fine, which is counter to a lot of the narratives that the executives like to put out there. Former executives. Now, I don't know if Pete Hines is like, he may not be disgruntled. This may just be simply his opinion, and that's completely fine. But I feel like this opinion from someone who obviously was pretty high up in the industry, it doesn't make too much sense because they kind of forget the most basic thing when it comes to Game Pass and games dropping into the service. And that is that you can still buy games everywhere, not just on Xbox, on the other storefronts, even first party Xbox games, you can still buy them. And we've seen the sales charts of games dropping on PlayStation and even on PC from Xbox that drop day one into the service and they still sell well. So very odd take, but as we know, this has been the big thing everyone has been talking about. Then we had another person, I forget her name, Shannon Loftus or something. I don't really know too much about her. Age of Empires, but I'm not like extremely familiar with her stuff. I know obviously Pete, he was there during the whole Redfall stuff, wasn't he? And then he retired after. Kind of forget, but I believe that was one of the things that was obviously not a great way to end. And he was also around during Starfield before Xbox acquired Bethesda. He was also around when we heard all of those rumors about Starfield being exclusive to PlayStation. Not saying that that's like any correlation or that he's like a Sony fan or anything like that, but it's that part's interesting because he was definitely probably a part of those talks. Try to get Starfield exclusive to PlayStation, which, in my opinion, that hurts. That game is only locked to a console because we know Starfield's out on PC. We know that game is going to be coming to the PS5 in the future. If that game only was ever on PlayStation 5, that game would have been hurt far more than it being on Xbox, in Game Pass, in more places, and all that stuff that we know helps out these games succeed. But Pete Hines believes developers fitting into an ecosystem that's not properly valuing and rewarding what they're making is not good, obviously. Here is what he says. He spoke about his career in the industry. So he did talk about other things as well. Not just Game Pass. He did talk about other things as well. And he believes subscription services like Game Pass may not properly balance the needs of the service and those running it with those of content providers, saying, I'm not working with any of these companies anymore, and don't assume that everything I knew while I was in the industry still holds true today. So I'll give him that. That is fair. He realizes that, yeah, he could be out of touch right now as to everything that is happening. We actually saw, I have to pull it up on, I have to find it. I don't know if it's, because we talk about subscription services, and this is a very interesting point. Because based off of what he said there, that he could be out of touch. He's definitely out of touch when it comes to what's going on with subscription services these days. I'll try to find it was on Blue Sky because it's from Matt Piscatella. He is not on. Why is my WhatsApp? I had a link in my WhatsApp, but it's not through him. He is not on. He's not on X. But he was talking about subscription services and how the industry has absolutely changed. And I believe he was commenting specifically on what's happening here with the whole discussion around Xbox Game Pass and the fact that it's a different industry. Subscription services spending has greatly increased over the last little while. Here, let's see if this will pop up here. There we go. All right. Oh yeah, this is okay. So this is just from this is an interesting conversation because when we talk about like the analytics and all of these companies, I feel like Matt Piscatella and his company Circana, or the company he works for, is probably the only one you look at where you can see, okay, these numbers are relatively solid. Like we're seeing the Alinea analytics stuff, and I don't really trust that company. I have no idea where they get their numbers from, especially when they did the whole looking at Final Fantasy 16 and they got their numbers based off of reviews as to how many people bought the game on Xbox. But then obviously they came out with the big number on Helldivers 2, and then the Xbox guys ate up the Alinea analytics as like it was fact. You can't trust what they're saying either way. I do think Helldivers, however, did sell decently well on Xbox. I mean, we saw the monthly active users as well from him today, and it was like number 6 on the Xbox chart. So, it did decent. But he says it's a healthy conversation to have. This is directly in regards to Pete Hines, but consumer spending on subscription services is growing at a 20% plus clip versus a year ago. And many players are looking for and finding value in subs. And given all the other macro market conditions at the moment, can you blame them? And that's the thing, right? Like subscription services as a consumer are phenomenal, especially with everything else that's happening with prices going up. We're in an era where it's like everything is increasing. You have consoles increasing as well. And obviously subscription services is a way to play all of the games that you do want to end up playing. Think about having to put every game you want to play in your cart right now. It would be insane how much money you would have to be spending on those games, and with the prices of games going up. Subscription services are a way around that for now. How much more are they going to increase? I don't know. Game Pass will probably increase at some point, but I still think it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. Where is that freaking? Oh, that's why. That's why I can't find it. Okay. I still think it's going to be worth it at the end of the day, depending on how much they do increase it. Or put them into your wish list, right? It's like hundreds of dollars a month. Think about September. I mean, I was just looking at this today. Think about September. How wild September is for game releases. Like you could just add up the prices to all of this. I'm sure there's multiple games people want to play. So Metal Eden is a phenomenal game. I was streaming that the last week or so. It's like a Doom game. That one's cheaper. I think it's only like $35, but it's a good game. That's a big game that people would want to buy. Hell Is Us. There's a big one coming out September 4th. That's another one. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Order of Giants DLC. So another thing there. You have to buy that one. That was not in a subscription service. You add those in. Hollow Knight Silksong, of course. Not bad. That was actually only $20, but that's in Game Pass day one. Chronos: The New Dawn. Like there's so many games coming out here in September. NBA 2K26. Baby Steps. Who's playing Baby Steps? Who's playing Baby Steps? This is the big PlayStation 5 console exclusive this month. Who's playing it? Anyone? Anyone out there playing it? I think it'll be funny. I'm not playing it. But I think there'll be some funny stuff that comes out of it. The Bubsy, the Perfect Collection. Remember Bubsy? I didn't even know that was coming out this month. Borderlands 4. I'll be streaming that probably next week. Which, again, another big game. NHL 26. If you're an NHL fan, you get a 10-hour trial on Game Pass, which is cool. Deep Rock Galactic. Skate. The early access. Like this month is insane. Nobody's going out there and buying all of these games. Oh, I should say nobody, but a lot of people are not going out there and buying all these games. Silent Hill F, is this not on Xbox? Is this only on PS5 and PC? Look at that. It is on Xbox, right? This is the one that did come onto Xbox. But for some reason, they only have it listed here as PS5 and PC. Odd. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Another big one. EA Sports FC. This month is absolutely insane. Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evil's Chronicles, one that I really, really want to play. Will I get that day one? I'm not sure just because of so much stuff, but I really want that one. So it's an insane month. Nobody can afford to go out and play all of this stuff. And there's going to be major games here that get left behind. In terms of people who are in terms of sales and everything. October is ridiculous as well. Let's see what we got here in October. Ghost of Yote. Borderlands 4 again. Oh, on the Switch 2. Some other big ones. Battlefield 6. That's obviously huge. This game looks awesome. Ball X Pit, whatever. Ball versus Pit. I don't know. But yeah, that game's in Game Pass. When that was the one that was announced. That game looks awesome. Pokemon Legends game for Switch 2. The Keeper. Another big one for for Xbox Game Pass on day one. I mean, it's going to be a smaller game, but first one from Double Fine in a while, so I'll be interested to see how they do. Jurassic World Evolution 3, Ninja Gaiden 4, day one Game Pass. Vampire Masquerade. That's the one that's been was delayed forever, right? That one's finally coming out. Double Dragon Revive looks pretty cool. Oh my god, yeah. October, Sushu Arc Raiders is coming out. Terminator 2D No Fate 2. Outer Worlds 2. And if you look at October, that's 1. What else we got here? Some of these may be in Game Pass that I don't even know. 2. So if I miss one, I'm not sure. 3. 4. I mean, you're going to get a $10 trial for Battlefield 6. So I guess 5, somewhat, 5.5. That's 5 games already in Game Pass. Day one from October. Imagine having to buy all that stuff. The other thing here, yeah, we got to be realistic. People don't even have the time to play all of those games. So would they even want to purchase them? Who knows? They don't really have time to play all of them. And games get left behind. We're in a very oversaturated market with tons of stuff coming out all at the same time. It seems like this end of the year, a lot of games that were probably pushed back a bit are now coming out. A lot of them are probably also looking, okay, Grand Theft Auto 6 has been pushed to 2026. So let's get our game out there before that does hit, before nobody plays anything else. Who knows? But September and October are insane. And then you also have Call of Duty Day 1 coming out in November, which is a massive win. Very eager for Keeper, Little Nightmares. P9 says shares in Microsoft. I bet he doesn't cry about Game Pass. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I have no idea if he has shares in it. I'm sure he got a very nice retirement when he did leave. I'm sure he's happy he retired. Well, how does that work? I don't know. I'm sure he's happy he retired after Xbox bought them. Because if you remember the whole thing with Bethesda 2, people always forget, especially when they talk about acquisitions and how acquisitions are bad. And I think acquisitions, too many of them, could definitely hurt. But Bethesda wasn't doing great when Xbox did come in. They weren't doing great. How's the new controller? The GameSir one? The GameSir one is great. So, but he continues on here. It says, at the same time, because we kind of went off on a tangent there. Continues on here and says, at the same time, I'm involved enough to know. Just going to pull the chat on the side. What I consider to be some short-sighted decision-making several years ago, and it seems to be bearing out the way I said. Subscriptions have become the new 4-letter word. You can't buy a product anymore, which, I mean, again, not true. Rachie, 39 month member for 39 months. Appreciate that. That's a long time, Rachie. Thank you. When you talk about a subscription that relies on content, if you don't figure out how to balance the needs of the service and the people running the service with the people who are providing content, without which your subscription is worth jack shit, then you have a real problem. You need to properly acknowledge, compensate, and recognize what it takes to create that content and not just make a game, but make a product. That tension is hurting a lot of people, including the content creators themselves, because they're fitting into an ecosystem that's not properly valuing and rewarding what they're making, which I don't fully get. Because like you think about games like Claire Expedition 33, probably one of those games that one of the best games to drop into Game Pass day one, maybe ever. I think it's a game of the year. And they probably were able to reach their vision in some way because of the money they received from the Game Pass deal. When it comes to, I guess, the internal studios, you may be talking more about that, but I don't know. Xbox has been releasing some good first-party games recently that have been hitting the mark. I mean, Doom: The Dark Ages didn't seem like it was hindered by being a day one into Xbox Game Pass game. You may would have thought the Doom would have been slightly different if they knew they had to be in Game Pass. Made it more like games as a service oriented, where you had to continue playing the campaign to different than previous games and stuff, so you were staying hooked to it or something. I don't know, but like Doom Dark Ages didn't really seem that has been affected too bad. And at the same time, the tension, people always talk about tension with Xbox Game Pass, but it's been getting better. So that's what I don't understand. It has been getting better from the consumer's perspective. It's continuously getting better. Can't buy a product gamer, clearly doesn't do his homework. You can literally buy any of the games on Game Pass. Exactly. You can buy them on Game Pass and you can buy them in multiple spots. So, and we see so like not every game is in crazy in sales and everything, but we've seen some of the sales for it, for some of those games that drop day one and they do very, very well. And then you got Shannon Loftus, who agrees says, I don't know too much about her, to be honest. She was many positions ranging from VP of Xbox Game Studios to the studio head of World's Edge Studio and the general manager of Global Games Publishing and even general manager at Xbox Entertainment Studios. And a LinkedIn comment. So this is all for business people. See, they're just only like when you're commenting on LinkedIn, they're just talking to business people. They don't care about the consumer here at all. It's about the business people and what makes them happy, what makes the executives happy. As a longtime first-party Xbox developer, I can attest that Pete is correct. While Game Pass can claim a few victories with games that otherwise would have sunk beneath the waves, Humans Fall Flat, etc., the majority of game adoption on Game Pass comes at the expense of retail revenue. Okay, not real big insight there. Unless the game is engineered from the ground up for post-release monetization, I could and may someday write pages on the weird inner tensions this creates. So they're talking about games as a service. But is that solely like a Game Pass thing? Like, for example, let's go back to this. We just saw this today. What was that? That was 14 days ago. This is the reason why games are being created for post-launch monetization and games as a service. I would say Game Pass, games in Game Pass for that, sure, great, because you're playing it and then the companies, they can make a bunch of money off of microtransactions for a long period of time if you've downloaded it onto Game Pass and you're taking away that early entry fee that turns off a lot of people, which is paying full price for the game. Then people don't want to spend any more money and they'll make way more money in the long run if you're spending microtransactions every single month for like a year or something like that. But the reason why game companies look to that isn't because Game Pass, it's because of look at the top player engagement titles out there. They're all games as a service games. On Xbox, on PlayStation, it's just the way that the service is. People just continuously play the same games. That's why you see so many of these other games that try to break in fail. Although there's been a couple of ones that have actually done very good recently, like Delta Force broke into the top 10. So this is for PlayStation. Call of Duty, Fortnite, Roblox, Grand Theft Auto 5, NBA 2K25, Delta Force, Marvel Rivals, NBA 2K26. People are still playing 2K25 more than 2K26. I guess the game just did drop, but this is the player engagement tracker. Madden 26, Minecraft. Those are the top 10 on PlayStation. And basically it's the exact same here on Xbox, except Helldivers 2 is in the top 10 as well as Gears of War Reloaded. So it seems like Gears of War Reloaded did not chart very well on PlayStation. That was one that I was when I was talking about this in previous videos, I wasn't sure if Gears of War Reloaded would top PlayStation charts like the other games, and I don't think it's going to. I think for a couple of reasons. One, Gears of War has already been out for so long. They already did a remastered version of it. Tons of people on PlayStation, I'm sure, back on the Xbox 360 days, bought an Xbox 360 just to play Gears of War, and by this point I've probably played it in many different ways, or at least in one way or another. And it's not as popular as something like Forza right now. Now Gears of War E-Day, that may top the PlayStation charts, the brand new entry into the series. But I'm not shocked that it is there. Xbox guys obviously love Gears of War, so it is in the top 10. It's a great remake of the game. Steam US top 15 games. Again, look, it's all Helldivers 2 has jumped into the top 10 on Steam. And you can thank, I think, the Halo crossover for that and the new content that they've brought in, bringing new life to the game. Counter-Strike 2, Peak, Path of Exile 2, Marvel Rivals. Like these are all games as a service games, multiplayer games. That's in, I guess that's just the US. Yeah, and then this is Canada. Same thing. Mexico. Everyone in every country is playing the same stuff. No big differences in any of these. Peak. What is that? Is that like a snowboarding game or something, or a skiing game? Sonic Racing Cross Worlds entered the top 10 on Steam. So that is just the network test. That's hilarious. That game got up there in Mexico specifically for Steam engagement. What does he say? Your Circana player engagement tracker, top 15 titles by total. Week ending August 30th. NBA 2K26 debuted at number 8 on PlayStation, was 13th on Xbox. Helldivers 2, 6th on Xbox. On the US and Mexico Steam, it jumped to number 1. No Man's Sky sees a big player boost with the Voyagers up there. They had like over 100,000 concurrent players in No Man's Sky. No Gears popularity outside of Xbox. This is not sales, but weekly active players boosted by subscription on both. Oh, that's true, I guess, because Gears is in Game Pass, so that probably increases the numbers on Xbox itself. New games barely make it in the list, even if they're on a subscription service. Most games here are live service, yearly sports games, and games on a subscription. So yeah, that I mean, the games are across the border are pretty much the same. So I feel like that is the bigger thing here. Whether games are in Game Pass or not, these companies are making games to have post release monetization in one way or another, because that's where they make all of their money. So I know Hines also spoke about a host of other subjects, including the poorly received marketing decisions surrounding Arcane's Prey. And he noted even pissed. Why is that? Like, you can't say pissed anymore. Why can't we say pissed anymore? Pissed some people off internally over that, because I fought so hard against using that name. I'm the head of the spear, but I had a lot of people across my team, brand, PR, and community, and we feel we're burdening it with a name where we spend more time explaining why it's called Prey than we do talking about the game. I regret that I lost that battle, but nobody on this planet could have put more good faith effort into changing minds on that. Ultimately, he noted that the marketing surrounding Prey could best be described as wasted excitement, since Bethesda would have been better served by marketing the title better with regards to its title as well as gameplay. Yeah, so Prey. And I think we recently see some release footage of Prey 2 that obviously is not coming out, but we've seen some footage of that. So let me jump back over here 1 second. Where is my thing? I don't think games as a service games need Game Pass like they're saying it's a single player games. Well, I think games as a service games, multiplayer games do thrive somewhat on Game Pass, because you just have so many people jumping in and playing it right away. And if you're making that style of game, the more people that jump in and play it on day one, the higher chance people stay hooked, the higher chance people do microtransactions and all of that. So unless, I think it's like you make it free to play, you put into subscription service now for multiplayer games. It's rare to see, like we saw what happened with Concord. They charged full, well, not, what was it, $30, $40, whatever it was. They charged a price for it that wasn't free to play, and the game failed right away. So I think if you're making it like a multiplayer games as a service at this day and age, because why would somebody choose to stop playing Fortnite for something new that comes out if they have to pay an entry fee for it? They're not going to. Most people aren't going to. You have to make it free to play. Like the game that just dropped that we saw up here in the ranks, Delta Force or something, that one is free to play. And that's already up in the top engagement numbers. Team Cherry exposed most of the dev care only about money. I don't think they need the Game Pass bag for Silksong, and having it on Game Pass encourages gamers to try it. Well, Silksong is an interesting one. Devs, they have to care about money. They have no choice. You can't make games without money. You have to care about money. You have to have a business plan with making their game. Silksong, because their first game sold so well, they had that luxury of kind of sitting back and just doing whatever they wanted and not being held to make decisions that would potentially hurt the game. And they also got that Game Pass bag, so that added more to it. But they sold 15 million of the first, and they have like 3 people working on the game. So they already made their bag. There's no way that they could really mess it up. And they had a luxury to just really not have that much, I guess, pressure in terms of having to make, in terms of their sequel having to do insanely well for them to make their money. They've already made their money. But it's great what they did. It's great that they kept that at $20 because I think the thing they could have easily done is charge $40 for that game, and it would still have sold as many copies as it sold at 20. So, but they decided to. We know that game wasn't about the bottom line for them. It was about the passion of making it, and I think Silksong is a phenomenal story. But you can't take what Silksong did and then apply that to other games. It just doesn't work because you have to have that luxury of having a first out of nowhere game, having a very small dev team and just selling 15 or millions and millions of copies and being a huge success out of that. Like Balatro, I'm sure that guy, if he wants to make a second game, will have a luxury of kind of, I can take his time and not be forced into making any bad decisions that will force monetary stuff into the game that will make players pissed off. Pre-ordered Borderlands 4 earlier. Hope it doesn't suck ass. Well, I'm probably going to be streaming that next week. So if you're not, whoever's not planning on playing it, we can see if it sucks ass together. I think Borderlands 4 is going to be very good. Simply, this is just based off of what people have been saying before. Unless they're all getting paid to say that they're really thinking this is going to be a great game, great Borderlands game, and a proper sequel that people wanted from Borderlands 2. Unless they're being paid to say that, I feel like it's gonna be good. Are there any big controversies surrounding Borderlands 4 besides the whole Randy Pitchford stuff that he said about if you'll find a way to pay the $80 if they charge that amount? I don't think that even matters anymore because they didn't even charge that price for the game. So we'll see. I think the game's gonna do well. I think it'll be a good game. As a parent, I'd rather buy Game Pass Ultimate and have my son play all the games. And if they really likes one game, then buy it. Exactly. Yeah, that makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. Like, there's a Hot Wheels game on Game Pass that my son loved. And then I eventually bought it when it left Game Pass. But then you go into it and it's like, if you want to buy more stuff for this, all the microtransactions are so expensive. I'm honestly not buying any of those microtransactions. But if it wasn't in Game Pass, I think the full price of that game would have been like $70 or something for a Hot Wheels game. But it was in Game Pass and there was like a discount, and I think it only came to like 40 or something. Something like that. Some devs, media, and game industry condemned Game Pass, saying nobody is buying games. Come on, 40 million Xbox, 70 million PlayStation. Not everyone owns Game Pass. Yeah, it's condemning Game Pass is a very odd thing. I think it's only for the executives. For the consumer, it's phenomenal. If you're an executive, yeah, maybe you're not making as much money. Maybe you're not hitting the bonus you're trying to hit. Who knows? think Randy was just confident they made a great game, worked hard on it, but forgot times are different, and it's a fight for people's attention in dollars. Yeah. There's so many games. We just went over the list of all the games released too, so it's hard to. You're gonna have to stand out pretty good. It's like Netflix. The more you watch, they make money. The more you play. Tough loss for the Titans. Yeah, no, the things aren't going to get better this year. It would be a couple years. Although I think Cam Ward is going to be good. His team around him just sucks, but he actually looked like pretty promising in some of the decisions he was making. Has anyone jumped into the Silk Song? Investors want to see player engagement. That is the new metric. Even PlayStation themselves have been using that metric. Oh, Xbox announced that they're going to be back at Tokyo Game Show on September 25th for studio announcements and updates. There could be some big announcements there. I feel like that's not where they're going to announce the price of the ROG Xbox Ally. This got to be before that. You can't wait all the way to Tokyo Game Show. Almost done with the first one. Nice. Nice. 3 a.m. show for Xbox. Yeah, I usually I'm not able to get up to watch those. Not able to get up to watch those. Is Xbox really making a T8? I don't know what that is. I don't even really want to jump. Like, I started into Silk Song, and then I'm like, there's other stuff I'm going to be playing next week that I don't even know if I want to start it, because I feel like that's one you have to really invest everything into. A new Fire Emblem or Star Ocean 3 remake. New Fire Emblem would be at a Nintendo Direct. Is Fire Emblem really, or is Xbox really making their own handheld? I don't think I think the latest report on the first party Xbox handheld is that they've put that on the back burner for now because of the partner devices, which I don't think really matters. I know some people really want like the first party one, but I don't think it matters because they're just going to be using the same thing inside the handheld that any of the third party manufacturers would be using. The only difference is third party ones will have two logos on it. It'll have the Xbox logo for like the button, and then it'll have like whatever manufacturer makes it. But other than that, like it's just going to be PC hardware inside of it. It's not going to be anything special. If they want RDNA 4 in a handle, they'll just license or hire Lenovo or something to make another handheld. Who knows? And speaking of handhelds, the Lenovo Legion Go 2, like I think that like the screen is just looks great, but it's so expensive. Do I watch Linus Tech Tips? Yes, I do watch Linus Tech Tips. I do. I do. If there's any like videos or articles or anything you guys want me to watch, maybe I'll if before I go live, I'll start making posts. You can throw those in there. Just looking at some stuff to read over here. Did Linus make a new video recently? Canadian national treasure. He is, yeah. He said the Zen 2 is Extreme is not worth the upgrade. Is that a recent one? Did he make a video on the Lenovo Legion Go 2? Because I feel like he would be one of the guys that obviously got a preview. So not worth it from the Z1 Extreme. I'm sure you'll make one though when it comes out. Definitely a Canadian national treasure though. Why not spend 200 for an actual laptop? Yeah, that's the thing, right? You can get laptops that are pretty good at that price, especially if you're buying like the highest one, $1,400. You can get laptops, no problem. That's the thing. And like battery life, I mean, they're going to be similar depending on what you're playing. Maybe even laptops will you can get bigger battery in there so they'll last longer. What is this? This is a video that just popped up. Versus Lenovo Legion Go 2. Let's see. Someone have a video on this? NPL Ventures. I don't know who this is. Someone actually have them both in their hands? No. No, they don't. To me, the big thing is just the Xbox full screen experience. It's coming over to the Lenovo Legion Go 2 in 2026, which means it's going to be available on probably everything at some point. Where no matter if you have a current ROG, you're probably going to get that full screen experience as well. So should the OEM target battery life with lower fidelity to try and carve out more of the market Steam Deck currently dominates? Business-wise, I think that's the smarter move. Like if they want to sell more of these units, you give a better like look at the Nintendo Switch 2. I guess the battery life on that it's not great, but like you keep it in that price point. If you can release a handheld at like 450, you don't and also with the size of the screen, like you don't need the greatest fidelity in the world when you're playing on a 7-inch screen. It doesn't really matter that much because you're like going to be missing out on details anyway, just because of the size of the screen. I find 7-inch a little small. Be completely honest with you. Even like the ROG, the first one, I found the screen on that slightly small. So I'm disappointed that they did go with a 7-inch screen on the Xbox One, but you don't really care about every little detail when you're looking at a screen that size. You just want it to perform well. So you're going to turn down the resolution anyways. At least that's how I used it. And I pick specific styles of games to play on the handheld. I feel like with the Ally X, you're gonna get away with being able to play a wider range of games just because of the power of that thing. But yeah, I think that is the smart business move. And I'm sure there will be. That's the thing. I think there's going to be like all of the different levels of handhelds with the Xbox full screen experience coming out in the next gen from different manufacturers. What if the Xbox OS gets put on this? You will be able to put it on the Steam Deck. Just like you can put Windows on it. Right? Just uninstall SteamOS, install the Xbox full screen experience on your Steam Deck. You'll be able to do that because I'm sure they're going to make it available for everyone. I hope so. Because SteamOS right now, you could just go download it, right? And you can put it on anything. GeForce Now and xCloud for those handhelds. That's true too. Yeah. Hey, it's Bezoid. We're just chatting. Magnus Xbox. Yeah, we'll see what that is. I think they're gonna go pretty premium. Pretty premium on that. I wonder if they're gonna hit the $1,000 mark on the next Xbox, or if they're gonna keep it at like 750, 800. Because I think that's kind of like the entry point when you think about the PS5 Pro, the price of that one. Should Asus and Xbox have targeted the Ally X to be more like a Steam Deck? No, I think the 2 SKUs is fine. The Ally, the white one is going to be a good entry price, and you're still going to get a good experience from it if you don't want to. Like, I feel like the Ally is like how been using my PC handhelds that I previously had. I feel like if I got that one, I would just continue using it the same way. Play the specific games on there, which I know will have no real performance issues, and there's so many games like that I enjoy playing that it doesn't really matter to me. A lot of people are excited about the budget-friendly PS6, but completely dogged on the Xbox Series S this entire generation. Yeah, they're hypocrites. That's my thoughts. I don't know. That's it. They still talk about the Series S holding back the generation. It's stupid. To me, the whole Xbox Series S and the whole dual SKU thing, it's like when 99% of things are completely fine, but there's like less than 1% of the people out there are saying, oh, there's an issue, or less than 1% of the games have had an issue, yet everyone only focuses on that like less than 1%. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. The Series S has been a great console, especially when you see some of the games that are around. If you buy that console with the expectations of it not giving you the most premium gaming experience, completely fine. I love my Series S. I've loved it since I first got it, and I still have my original one. I only have one of them, and I use it all the time. Like, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows on my Xbox Series S, and I play it on my X as well. But depending on where I'm deciding to game on that specific day, I play my Series S Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I have no issues with the game. The game runs great. I'm enjoying it. I can't really ask anything more. I bought the console when it first launched. Yeah, the console, the price of it now has gone up and everything's gone up. So I think now it's like the value just isn't there. But when it first launched and the pricing and everything, what you're getting with that console is phenomenal. Is it the best Xbox generation yet, you think? 10 to 20 games who skipped Xbox. This is the best Xbox console we've ever gotten for sure. Nostalgia makes me hold on to the Xbox 360 generation, but I think everything that the Series X as a console itself offers, it just destroys any other console out there with the backwards compatibility, with the whole ecosystem, with the whole just having Game Pass on it, with the quick resume. Like, I think it's the best console we've gotten from just like a user experience. I think the lower SKU is just the handheld, and the big console is going to be closer to the PS5 Pro price. Yeah, but the lower SKU will still, if I think PlayStation is doing this to compete with the Nintendo Switch 2 more than anything. And because I mean, they compete with them in way more regions, like in Japan and stuff. So all of the PlayStation games are going to have to run on both. There's not going to be I doubt they're going to put out a handheld that they want to be utilized like the Nintendo Switch 2 is utilized, which is like taking your game from when it's docked to your TV on the go with you. That they're going to tell developers that they can skip the handheld if they want to. Savvy games don't skip Xbox anymore. Yeah, some still do, but yeah, less definitely. We've gotten games generation that have never been on Xbox, which is great. Thoughts on the Steam frame competition? I think the Steam frame is going to be kind of like the Steam Deck. They're just targeting selling like 5 million or so for it's not going to be close in power. It's probably going to be a relatively easy entry price. Maybe $400 or something. And it's just for PC gamers who want to sit at their TV with an easy pick up and play experience. So I don't think it's going to be exactly on this level of like the next Xbox. In my mind, I'm already preparing for it, is going to be very expensive, but very premium. I don't think the Steam frame is going to be in that range. I think the Steam frame is going to be more like Series S range. No, my name is not Omar. My name is Tony. I don't know where you got Omar from. Did you just make that up or did you hear that somewhere? Did I see the recent prices for Xbox in Canada? Did they change again? I know they're absurd, but did they change again? I know that there were specific Canada only listings for Xbox that were popping up on Amazon, but I think that's because of the tariffs. But I'm not sure. Steam Frame a standalone VR headset? No. Steam Frame is the recent patent that was been filed about them making a console. So we've heard about Steam and the rumors for a while, but making a console. But there was a recent patent that they submitted in September. Was this September or the end of August? I forget when I talked about it. I made a video on it. And it's for a console. It's for a computer device, which will be a console. I'm almost positive. But like Steam's different because like the Steam Deck, what is the sales of the Steam Deck? I think it's only around, they say approximately 6 million since 2022. And I think they're pretty happy with that. Like, I don't think that they're like looking at that and seeing that as a failure in any sense. They're building these devices where they're probably making money off of them right off of the bat. I think, not 100% sure, but I think so for them it's like, and it just adds to their current install base on Steam, and it gets Steam OS out there to more people. Where Steam's big game is though with this stuff is Steam OS. Just like with Xbox, the big end game here isn't the hardware, it's the Xbox full screen experience. They want everybody using the Xbox full screen experience, whether they're on a Steam Deck and then they've installed the Xbox full screen experience or they're on an Xbox handheld. They just want you in their experience to keep you in their ecosystem to spend money in their store. That's like the end game for all of this for these companies. It's not the actual piece of hardware, I don't think. Steam Deck 2 should be interesting. I wonder what they're going to do. How they'll improve upon it. Will they make it more powerful? Will it still be kind of same price range? All that stuff. I think Sony's too far behind. Even if they drop a launcher, it depends how they do it. They'd have to do what Xbox is doing, unless they give you that dual like entitlement. Unless they make it worth it. I think they're too far behind. That's why I think the future PlayStation is going to be behind on that stuff. 2 years is a long time. And maybe by in 2 years they do end up. They're gonna. I think they're gonna do something. I think their goal is to expand more out, especially in the PC front. They'd rather you buy their games via the PlayStation Store on PC if that was the thing. If they built that out, than buying it through Steam. I can guarantee that. But what would be the incentive? I think at this point, trying to get into PC and trying to defeat Steam is a losing cause. Like, you kind of have to work with Steam and then do what Xbox is doing, which is the smart move, which is they know they can't beat Steam anytime soon. But what they can do is start trying to like add features to their ecosystem, like Play Anywhere, to say, well, hey, you can buy it on Steam, but you can also buy it here and have dual entitlement and play this game on your console if you have a console. If you don't have a console, well, you can still play it on the cloud. If you have a cloud, you play on your like in all these different places, right? Would you recommend switching to PC for those that can't afford to keep up with the next generation of consoles? Depends what PC you have. Because like the next generation, when the newer games come out and you still have if you have a PC that can't run any of those newer games, then you'd have to rebuild a new PC. The console will probably still be less expensive. But I mean, you get to do so many other things on a PC, so it really is the individual. But yeah, as the consoles become more and more expensive, the PC route becomes more and more enticing for people. The thing about consoles was that they're cheap and they were convenient. But if they go up in price more and more, PC becomes a much more viable option for people who is like, if I'm going to spend $1,000, I might as well just save a bit more and get something even better that will last longer. Yeah, I think they'll probably stay separate too. All right. All right. I just wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit for about an hour or so. So I'm going to call it for the night. Appreciate everyone coming out. Have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. And we will talk again soon. See you later, everyone.